Welcome to Serious Software's e-commerce training series. In this video, we will be covering add-on setup. In your admin panel, we're navigating to add-ons on your left-hand toolbar. Similar to the other screens we've been discussing, you have your new add-on button and you have your search button, search bar if you need to look up a particular item in a longer list. Your grid will have a few fields for us, so you have your ID, your name, your sort order if you have more than one option per product. That'll help you organize which questions come first in the customer experience. You have your duplicate option and your delete option if needed. Please remember, if you're asking tech for specific help about a specific add-on, it is helpful to give us both the ID and the name. And you can log any issues here in your support request menu or email ecommerce@serious.com. The purpose of add-ons is to allow for customers to give you variable data about the product without necessarily having to design the piece themselves. So you might have a static image or even a customizable image, but you need a couple additional things from them. Maybe you want to offer them an installation kit. Maybe you want to offer them a choice in material, different weights of banner material, or matte versus gloss finish. Maybe there's a rush charge attached to it. Different things like that that you might need to collect on top of what the product is. When we look at the add-on setup screens themselves, there's two. It's the General tab and the Values tab. The General tab gives you the ability to give the add-on an internal name. The first one is not displayed to the customer. And then an add-on title, which is displayed to the customer on the product page. You have your display order. As we've talked in other places, the lower number takes priority, so it'll show up first. There is no reindex or resort of the display order, so if you're going to come back in and insert additional ones later, maybe leave yourself some space between your numbering convention. Then you have your display type. We offer 4 types: drop-down list, radio button, checkbox, or text box. The main thing to think about here is these add-ons or this variable data can be mapped to control via a modifier or a variable on your pricing form. If you are planning on mapping this to something inside of control, it's best to map it to the same type. So if it's a drop-down list in control, it's best to have a drop-down list here. If it's a checkbox in control, it's best to have it as a checkbox here, so on and so forth. That way the values can translate from one database to the other smoothly. We give you the option of adding a tooltip here. So if you had something typed in this box, it would pop up as a little help menu, similar to our little help menus, next to the add-on title on the customer product page, giving them an idea of or some definitions of what you're looking for from this selection. If relevant, you do have some inventory settings available to your add-on. So if you only have so many in a certain size or so many in a certain material, you can define that here on the add-on level. Your values tab is going to be your actual choices. So in the case of the drop-down list, this would be each entry in your drop-down list. In the case of a checkbox, you would have one value, and it would be whatever is the checked version of the selection. In the case of radio buttons, it would be all your radio button options. In the case of your text box, it's the different names or items that you want within that text box. So even though you have one add-on, maybe called name and phone number, you can here on your value list, you can have one row for name and one row for phone number. So it's one variable data field being transferred over to control, but it's 2 individual checkboxes. On your values tab, we do give you a little quick overview of what's already set up. So in this case, ID, name. If there are any pricing changes attached to that change in value, if you're tracking inventory, and what's your sort order. You also have a duplicate and delete button here as well, as long as your search from your other screens that we've been talking about. If you look at your values tab, there's a couple settings available to you. So you have your label, which is what the customer is going to see in the drop-down box. So you want to be specific or use terminology that the customer is used to or will know what that option relates to. If you have an internal SKU for that code or for that part, you can fill that in here. If there's going to be any pricing changes attached to that, so maybe you give, in this case, the 24 by 88 is the default value. If I go up in size, I'm going to charge an additional value. Or if I go down in size, maybe I actually give them a discount. It will take positives or negative numbers in this box. Now, this isn't the retail price for the item plus the product. This is just the retail price for this selection. So think of this as more of as a addition or subtraction to the base value of the product. You can say this is taxable or non-taxable, just like in product setup. You have your inventory or your on-hand value for that number if you're tracking it. You can set shipping rules specific for this if it comes separate than the main product. So think of more like an installation kit. If for some reason you're not shipping it with the main product, you can change the shipping rules for the add-on. You have your display item, display order. Remember, smallest number is first. Doesn't resort, so if you're going to come back and insert more values later, maybe leave yourself some space in your numbering convention. You can also say this is the default selected item. So this is the, we're going to pre-select this value for you. That way you don't have to choose something initially, but if you wanted something else, you'd have to choose it. If you don't have any default values, then it's going to come back blank, and the customer is going to have to make a selection in order to have an option chosen. And then if you have any attributes that you would like to track about that specific option. The Save Changes button or the Cancel button on the screen is really just saving the value here to your Values tab. Once you've created all your values, please come back to the General tab to make sure you hit Save Changes to save it to the add-on altogether. There's also an option here under Display Type that I skipped earlier. We assume all add-ons are required fields. Unless you check this box. If you check this box, then it becomes optional, and the customer doesn't have to fill in the option. Once we've saved our changes, then we can go back to our product in Product Setup and go to our Add-on tab, click Add Add-ons, and then we can check which ones we want to include on that product. We can hit Save Changes. Again, that's only saving this add-on to this tab. I would still go back to my General tab to save to my product overall. Thank you for joining us on today's topic. If you have any questions, please email us at ecommerce@serious.com or check out our wiki page for advanced definitions, or join us on the Q&A session if you have additional questions on how maybe to set up or relate your add-ons to your products and control. Thanks. Have a great day.